Everyone, this is Kelly with CSUN CalFresh Healthy Living, and today I wanted to show you how to apply for food stamps online. When you log on to the getcalfresh.org website, this is what the main page will look like, and we just want to go ahead and click the Apply Now button. It'll give you a small notice about how counties are receiving more applications than usual, and the application processes are being delayed. That's okay. If you still need benefits, go ahead and apply because they are still processing them. It'll then give you a breakdown on how CalFresh works. The first step is to submit an application, which is what I am showing you how to do. The second step would be to submit proof of the situation that you're in, and this includes things like your ID, your pay stubs, or rent receipts. And you can either do this right after the application on this website. You can have them text you a link, and you can take pictures from your phone and submit it directly onto the website through that link, or you can come back within the next 30 days if you don't have all the information with you. If they have any questions, they'll give you a quick call, and if you are approved, you'll get an EBT card in the mail. So let's get started. The very first thing is some basic information to make sure that you qualify for CalFresh benefits before asking for personal information. It does take 10 minutes or less to complete, so let's continue. The first question asks is what your zip code is, and this is just so that they can designate an office to you. So that's the very first step, so you would just go ahead and type in your zip code. After typing in your zip code, it'll ask you how many people you regularly purchase and prepare food with, including yourself. This includes parents and spouses and children under 22 years old. If you're not sure who counts, you can go ahead and click this right here, and it'll give you different people that might live with you and whether or not they count. And the application can be for one person, being yourself, up to 12 people. So after you go ahead and select the number of people on the application, it'll ask you if you have applied for CalFresh in the last year or so. And this is just to make sure that you don't have to start a brand new application. So just go ahead and click whether or not you have applied for CalFresh in the past year. It'll then just let you know that they're going to go ahead and begin the application process with the number of people that you selected in Los Angeles County. That just depends on the zip code that you put in. Sounds good. Then it'll ask you to see if there's special cases for people on the application. So let's continue to see what those are. It'll ask if anyone on the application gets supplemental security income. This is different from Social Security retirement benefit. It's different from Social Security disability insurance, and it's different from state disability insurance. So just go ahead and click whether or not you do receive supplemental security income. It'll then ask you if anyone on the application is 60 years or older, or if they receive any disability benefits. So just go ahead and click whether or not this applies to you and your application. So after, it'll ask if everyone on the application is a US citizen, and it does let you know that most immigrants can still be eligible for CalFresh benefits. So just go ahead and click whether or not everyone on the application is a US citizen. Afterwards, it'll ask if anyone on the application is a college student or not. If you do have a college student on your application, they have to be enrolled either half-time or longer, and students at vocational or graduate schools also apply. So after that, it wants to check the income requirements. So if you do have your pay stubs or your paychecks or any other kind of proof of income, you want to gather that now just to go ahead and continue with the application process. And you will need to take pictures of them to submit them later after you submit the application. So we're going to go ahead and click continue. It will ask if anyone on your application has a job. This includes self-employed work, and it does have a little box here about coronavirus. So if you still have a job but are not currently working, you want to answer yes. Even if you are receiving unemployment benefits, you will want to click yes. If someone on your application does not have a job, you're going to click no. It'll then ask if in the past 30 days, if anyone had income from the following: from freelance work, from independent contractor, or from self-employment. This includes driving for Uber or Lyft or DoorDash, running your own business, having an online store, receiving a 1099 miscellaneous form at the end of the year, or working as a barber, a dog walker, or any other type of independent service. So you can just go ahead and click yes or no whether that applies in this case. Afterwards, it's going to ask if anyone has lost a job in the last 30 days. This does not include receiving unemployment benefits due to COVID-19. But if you have lost a job in the last 30 days, then you're going to go ahead and click no. The next question that the application wants to know is if there are money coming in from other sources, which includes Social Security, state disability, military BAH, child support, workers' comp, alimony, unemployment, VA benefits, pensions, or monetary gifts. So if anyone on the application receives any of this, you're going to click yes, and if not, then you're going to go ahead and click no. The next question on the application is if anyone on the application pays for court-ordered child support. And then it'll ask how many jobs do the people on the application have, and this is if you answered that at least one person on your application has a job. And then it does have another little notification here about coronavirus. So if you still have a job but aren't currently working, count that job. And it gives you from the option from 1 job to 12 jobs. So go ahead and click whichever applies to you. After you click how many jobs, it'll ask you to provide the pre-tax earnings from the last 30 days. And you can either provide the exact amount or you can provide your hourly wage. And it'll ask how much your hourly wage is and how many hours a week you work, and it'll automatically calculate the total for the past 30 days for you. And then it'll ask you how much you'll earn going forward. It'll the application will state the calculated amount based off of the hourly wages and the hours you work a week in the last 30 days. And it'll ask if you think that you'll make less that month. And if you're not sure, you can take a guess. If you think that you will make less money, it'll also ask you how much you think you will be making. And if you think that you are not going to make any less, you just go ahead and click no. And you can also add anything else that you wish to on the application. The next question on the application is how much money you have on hand. This does not affect the amount that you will be receiving. It's just to make sure that if you don't have that much money on hand, they will give you an expedited service for your food stamps. So then you just want to go ahead and type in whatever number of cash you have on hand is there. After it'll ask you to review just to make sure that everything looks correct on how much you make per month before taxes and how much money you have on hand. If it looks correct, just go ahead and click it looks correct. If not, you're always welcome to change your answers. Then it'll want to know a little bit more about your expenses. This figure will look different for everyone depending on the household size and how much income you put on the application. And it'll give you a small explanation of what the pre-tax income limit is as well. So then you just want to go ahead and calculate your expenses by pushing this green button here. So then it'll just take you to this page, which kind of talks a little bit about the expenses and deductions. And this will just also help to see if you qualify for emergency CalFresh or getting an expedited service. Just go ahead and click continue. The application will ask if anyone pays for child or dependent care. This includes babysitters, daycare, after-school care, adult daycare, or summer camp. If you do pay for child or dependent care every month, it'll ask you for the amount, and you will just enter it here and click continue. Whether or not you do pay monthly for care, it'll take you to this next page where it'll ask you how much rent you pay every month, and you're just going to go ahead and type that amount. After typing in how much you pay for rent, it'll ask you if you pay for any of the following utilities. And it says to select everything that you're billed for, even if you haven't paid it this month. So this includes heating, cooling, your water bill, sewage, garbage, phone, or if you don't pay any of these, you can click none of the above. It'll then ask you to review what you inputted, how much you pay per month for rent, if you pay anything for dependent care costs, and your utilities. You can either click that it looks correct, or you can change your answers if you forgot to note something down. It'll then let you know if you're eligible for CalFresh or not. In this instance, we are going to continue as if we are eligible for CalFresh. And then they do need a little bit more information to finish up the application. This is where they ask you for your name, your address, how to contact you, all of the personal information. They will only ask you this if you qualify for a CalFresh. Go ahead and click continue. On this page, you're just going to want to go ahead and write your first name as it appears on your ID, your last name. If you don't go by your first name, you can click this box and enter the name that you go by. It'll ask you when you were born, your date of birth by month, date, and year. It'll ask you whether you are male or female. This is how it appears on your ID, and it is a limited question. These are the only options currently allowed on the CalFresh application. So just go with whichever one appears on your California ID or driver's license. It'll then ask you for your social security number. If you do have one, you want to go ahead and include it. It's just easier to not confuse your application with someone else's application. So after you've entered that information, it'll ask you for your phone number, and it'll ask for your phone number again just to make sure that you wrote it in correctly. It'll ask you for your email address, which is optional, and then it'll ask you which language you prefer to be communicated in. They do have a wide range of languages included, just in case English isn't your strongest language. After submitting your contact information, it'll ask you what your current living situation is, whether you rent or own, whether you're temporarily staying with your friends or family, if you're staying in a cart or RV, in a shelter or outside. And it also gives you the option to click other or not to say what your current living situation is. So just click whichever one applies for you and press continue after. It'll then ask you for a street address, the city that you're living in, and a zip code. And then it'll also ask you if it's the best address to receive mail for the next 3 months. After filling that information, just go ahead and click continue. So after entering information about yourself, it'll want to make sure the amount of people living in your house. So just go ahead and confirm the number of people that you put on the application, and then click continue. It'll ask you about information about the other people listed on the application. It'll ask for their first name, their last name, their sex, when they were born, and their social security number. After you've finished putting in the information for the other people living with you, it's going to ask you how you would like to receive reminders about the CalFresh process. You can either be emailed or text messaged or both. So just go ahead and click whichever one you want and press continue. It'll let you know that you'll be receiving a confirmation message and that they'll send email messages to you at the email that you provided. It'll then ask you if you want to designate someone to help you with your CalFresh application or your benefits. This person can also use your CalFresh benefits for you. It could also speak to the county about your application on your behalf. So you can go ahead and either press yes or no, whichever you are more comfortable with. It'll then ask you if there's anything else that you want to let them know about the situation, and you can just go ahead and type anything you want here. I did want to mention that if you do assign someone to help you with your CalFresh application or to use the benefits for you, it will also ask for additional information from them, including their phone number and their ID. Then it will take you down to this page, which says the legal stuff. You can go ahead and read this. It just is like the terms of their services, and it has details. Once you have finished reading it and everything, you're just going to go ahead and click and continue. And then you will type your full legal name here to sign the application. And by entering it, you have submitted your application. So just go ahead and type your full name and sign and submit the application. And that is all there is to applying for CalFresh benefits online.